Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It's DevOps Rob. Thank you so much for joining. Now, I get a lot of questions in my DMs about my job and some of the things surrounding it, what exactly I do for a living, what's involved in it, some of the skills that I've learned and so on and so forth, right? So I've decided to use this channel to try to answer some of these questions and kind of change direction of what the channel is going to be doing going forward. So as some of you may or may not know, I am a senior developer advocate at a company called HashiCorp. Now HashiCorp makes operator tools and they make developer tools and tools for security professionals, essentially to help automate and extract maximum value from the cloud, which is something that before I joined HashiCorp, was helping my clients do. So it aligns really well. So with that, I'll just quickly announce that from now on, all of my gaming content is no longer going to be on this channel. I've set up a new YouTube channel, which is DevOps Rob Gaming. So if that's what you're into, then that's where to go. I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can check it out and make sure you subscribe and let's get the numbers up. But in kicking off this new direction for this channel, I have a good one for you today. And I want to talk about ways that we can have more constructive and healthier debates, right? So at HashiCorp, we make some of the most widely adopted open source tooling on the market. And how we're able to achieve that success is largely down to exchanging of ideas and, debating effectively. So I've learned quite a few skills in terms of how to debate constructively and learn from the process at HashiCorp. And I'm just here to share a few tips with you that I've picked up along the way. Right. So the first thing I'll say is that when we're talking about debates is what we're doing, we are exchanging ideas, right? And we are attempting to reach an agreed consensus. So that's essentially all a debate is, right? It's just exchange of different ideas. Now, my first kind of tip is to be self-aware. Now, being self-aware is all about understanding that we all have different lived experiences. We all come from different social, economic, and racial backgrounds, and that gives us different experiences. These experiences equate to us having different biases. So it's important to be aware that we all have biases and understand the key role that they play in us forming our viewpoint when we're having a debate. Right? So being self-aware allows us to see if our biases are, founded or unfounded, if our point of view is actually a bit more balanced, or whether we're being a little bit harsh on other people partaking in the debate to see where they are coming from, right? It's also a two-way thing. Other people also have biases as well. So it helps to understand this. Maybe you won't take things so personally as well, which is a key thing in a debate. I think it's also important that we not only acknowledge our biases, that we also give people the opportunity to empathize with the things that are, influencing our point of view, right? So, just building relationships with people, making them understand where you've come from, and you also understanding where they're coming from, helps build that empathy, which is a two-way process. My second kind of tip for you today is make sure you're listening to understand and not necessarily to respond. We shouldn't approach debates as the kind of exercise that you win or you lose. That's not really the goal here. Coming from sort of an engineering kind of function, that the only real winner here is the team if we approach debates constructively, right? So when someone opposes our point of view, we should try to understand exactly why they oppose it. What is it that they've gone through in their experiences that make them see the world the way that they do? If we're talking about a specific engineering project and an approach to it, have they worked on a similar project in the past and had certain experiences which are shaping their views? Have they gone through secondhand experiences through other people? How much of that is transferable to the situation that we are debating in this current day? These are all things that we have to try to understand. And if we are not listening to understand that point of view, then we're not going to learn anything, which is the key thing here. We must try to learn from one another, right? So if someone has different experiences, then this is a great opportunity for me to learn from those experiences, even if those experiences from the person you're debating with are secondhand. So we have to take advantage of that as much as possible. Also, when we're listening to understand, we should also consider that our point of view may actually be incorrect, right? We're all human, we all make mistakes, and it might not even be a mistake. It may just be a case of we haven't considered an alternate point of view or considered particular circumstances that may have an influencing factor on the subject at hand. My third tip is to challenge with reason. Now, challenging with reason is adding value to the conversation. If you put out a point of view and someone says, well, they disagree with that, and they don't follow it up with any explanation as to why, there's not much value inside that. There's not really much for you to learn or try to understand why they disagree. You cannot sort of build any kind of way to alleviate any concerns if you do not know what the concerns are. So equally, flipping it on the head, if you disagree with something, try to explain in a clear and concise manner why you disagree. Give as much information as possible and allow that person to take that in and process that. Also, when you disagree with something, try to internally challenge that disagreement as well. Try and be sure that the reasons why you disagree are in fact valid and relevant to the subject. But when it comes to challenging with reason, we should also try to bring in data where possible, right? If you have a particular argument, bringing in some data to support that argument is a really good idea. It's a great way of providing some evidence and helping to sell your point of view to your colleagues. There is one caveat with that though. Data can be open to interpretation. I can look at the same set of data and take one thing from it. Someone else can look at the data and take something totally different from it. So with that, we have to understand, again, these biases that I talked about, the role that they're playing and how we interpret that. However, bringing data to the table is a really good tool to help sell your ideas to your colleagues. My fourth tip is holding strong opinions weekly. Now, this is something that I picked up from an old colleague of mine, Ovais. I want to give a shout out to Ovais if you're watching this. I learned a lot from working with you on a project at our time together. Now, holding strong opinions weekly, what I mean by that is, we should have a point of view. We should have a position, right? We should have scrutinized that position enough to believe in it firmly, which means we should argue that position robustly. I'm going to go by the dictionary definition of that, which is healthy and strong. So you want to argue your point in a healthy and strong way. However, when new information comes to light, be prepared to switch position. That is so key. The thing that tends to hold people back from moving forward in a debate is their ego, right? We all have egos to some degree. And in a debate, it's a perfect breeding ground for that ego to rear its head. So try to recognize these things about ourselves and try to not allow our ego from dismissing perfectly valuable information and a perfectly valid point of view, right? If new information comes to light, a previously held position can easily be forgotten about and you can adopt a new position. And there's definitely no shame in that. In fact, I'd go as far as to say there's a lot of maturity and growth in that. It shows that you're a really mature individual if you can do that and you can just tackle your ego and put it to one side for the purpose of a debate. Now, my fifth tip is to create a healthy debate environment. Creating a healthy debate environment means that people should feel comfortable to express themselves. They should be able to put their points of view out there without fear of reprisal. They should also know that things will not get personal when they put their point of view out there. Creating a healthy debate environment, it does start with leadership, so if your leaders are open to being challenged, that helps create an environment where we are able to challenge one another in a healthy manner and we can all grow from this. A key thing about creating a healthy debate environment is also understanding that people process information at different speeds and using different mechanisms. So we need to give people the time to process this information before responding to a point of view or a comment. Right? So at HashiCorp, this is something internal that I'll just share. We have a massive culture of RFCs. Now, to anyone that's never heard of RFCs, these are documents which you call requests for comment. So essentially what we do is we lay out the problem and we lay out our proposed solution. And we also have a section in there where we detail abandoned ideas. We can talk about some of the ideas that we explored but decided not to pursue for different reasons, right? Now, the great thing about this is someone can read the RFC and they can go away and think about it. You know, if something's not clear, they can go back to the RFC and read it again and again and again. If they have any points of clarity they need, they can just ask the question inside there, exactly what's meant by this point here, or can you clarify, did you mean A or B? Whatever the thing is that they need to clear up, they can do that. Then they've got all the information they need to go away, process it, have a think about it, and then come back and respond in a constructive and clear way. And it's, for me, a great way of creating a healthy debate environment that allows people the time and space to be involved fully in the debate. So just to kind of recap on those tips there. So you want to be self-aware, you know, just think about some of the things that you've gone through that will impact the way that you see life and things in general. And also be aware that other people have different experiences that will cause a different view. Secondly, debates are not an argument. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand your peers. Try to understand where they're coming from, why they think a certain way, why they've got a certain point of view. And these things help you move forward to some kind of agreement in this debate. Thirdly, challenge with reason. You know, make sure you're clear when you disagree with something. You know, give as much information as you can, where you can, support your arguments with data, but remember that caveat, data can be interpreted in different ways. Number 4 is holding strong opinions weakly. Defend your point robustly, but when new information comes to light, be prepared to switch position and do so without any fuss. Don't let your ego get in the way. It's just a mature way of having a debate and growing from it. And finally, make sure we create healthy debate environments. Now, it can start with leadership, but I feel like everyone is a leader in their own rights, and we all have our part to play in creating healthy debate environments. That's it for this video. I really hope you found it useful. You know, these tips are how I tend to debate things with my team at work, especially my manager, Eric. Shout out to you. We debate almost every week, and it's really great and healthy. We learn so much from each other. So hopefully you can take some of these tips into your professional and then where relevant, your personal lives, and have healthier debates. If you like this type of content, please let me know in the comments and give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more things like this. And until then, I will catch you on the next one. Peace out.